everyone. Good afternoon. How is everyone today? Hope everyone is having a great day. So, I have been busy with housework, doing laundry, cleaning the house, and such. And I just found out something cool that it's going to snow tomorrow. And I haven't seen snow since I was a child. So, those of you that live in states where you see snow every winter, you're probably going to giggle at me since I am someone that I grew up in Florida and then I moved to California. I haven't seen snow in ages, so I'm going to be like a little kid. Oh, look, there's snow. And I'm probably going to make a little vlog out of it because I just think that's cool. It's going to snow. Anyway, so Miss Foodie Beauty, she hasn't finished raging. Foodie likes to tell people, stay mad, although it seems like she's the only one who's staying mad. She did a community post where she was raging about things that people are saying. And as far as the comments, she has edited a lot of the comments because I just checked the community post, and a lot of the things that people were saying she has deleted. But I wanted to react to her community post because I do have a lot to say. So let me just go ahead, share the screen so you guys can see and hear everything clearly. So there's the community post. Let's see, I'm going to get all of it. This was done 4 hours ago. Here's Foodie, and she says, Foodie Beauty is destroying her channel. So am I supposed to choose your entertainment over my well-being? I don't think so. I'm aware my views are much lower, and if that is the price for peace, and if that is what meant to happen, then so be it. I will not ever go back to my old life and my old room and my old live streams. This is me now. I know many think it's a phase. It's a chapter. So without even going into her comments, I have some comments on her post. So the quote of Foodie Beauty is destroying her channel. Did that come from a reactor? Did it come from her comments? I'm not exactly sure. But it is something that a lot of people are saying, that she is basically, in essence, destroying her channel. Does Foodie have to get on her channel and rage and do drugs and drink to be entertaining? No. There's a variety of things that she could do for her channel, but things that are positive, both for herself and for her channel, would require work, effort, thought, and imagination. And those are things that Foodie just doesn't have or want to put into her channel. She wants to take the easy, lazy way out and just rely on drama and rage to make her views. And drama and rage have made her a lot of money. But she's in a place and she's around a person that she cannot rage. So if you take away the rage and if you take away the drama and you take away the outrageousness, what are you left with? Essentially nothing, nothing interesting. And her YouTube channel is how she makes money to support herself, Pete's, the cats, and possibly other people. So if you're not making money with your channel, Foodie, how are you going to support yourself and other people around you? Now, let's talk about the comments she made about the price of peace. I think you worded that wrongly, Foodie. I think what you actually meant is the price of peace, as in Piece, not Peace. The price for a piece of Salah, because that's what you're doing. You're over there in Kuwait to get a piece of Salah. You want his companionship, and you will pay any price for that, even if it means your channel is going down the tubes. Now, the comment that she made about, I will not ever go back to my old life and my old room, my old live streams, that seems to point in the direction of she's not going back to Canada. She has no intention of going back to Canada. And I have said more than once that Foodie is a very obsessive person. She's been obsessive even before YouTube, even before she got with Pete's. Indeed, there are stories that she has told herself of when she was very young. And there's a story that she said where her neighbor, who had a teenage son, she was so bad with the stalking that the father actually told her, look, if you don't leave my son alone, I'm going to call the police on you. When it comes to men, Foodie just, she doesn't understand boundaries. She's all about intruding on other people's boundaries. Even if they tell her no, she's going to go after them. She just doesn't understand the word no. So she's in Kuwait now. And I would like to bring up something that Foodie herself said in a live stream. Something that even as a single person, I thought was weird. Talking about Natter, she said, I just have to get into his house. Now, I'm a single person. I never had that attitude of, I just have to get into their house. No, because that just seemed rather silly. Like, why is it so important to get into somebody's house? Well, I have a theory about that. I think the reason why Foodie found it so important to get into Natter's place at the time was, in her mind, if she was allowed into a person's residence, that meant that he was letting her closer to him. And also, if she was allowed into their residence, into his residence, that means she could leave part of her stuff there. And if she left her stuff there, there would always be an open door, an opportunity to talk to that person and forever bother them. Versus if she didn't leave her stuff there, then they would have no reason to speak to her. Anybody that's been watching Foodie for a very long time, then you will remember that when she and BB broke up, she left a lot of her stuff at BB's, and her stuff sat over there for well over a year. And she did that because she was still wrapped around BB, and she wanted a reason to call him and to bother him rather than just do the right thing and get her stuff and, leave the guy alone, like close that chapter of the book and pursue another one. So going back to Salah and how that all relates to him, she's in Kuwait right now and she's staying with Salah and her stuff is there. So I feel, given her past history, Salah, when he's done with Foodie, when he gets the golden egg of whatever it is he's waiting to get from Foodie, he's going to have a hell of a time getting rid of her. I'm just getting the feeling from Foodie that she is going to stay there as long as she possibly can, to the point where he's going to have to kick her out. Foodie's obsessive, and I just can't see her leaving Salah behind to come back to Canada, even for a few months, because she's that female that if you are the man in her life that she's wrapped around, she only trusts you if she's sitting right next to you. If you're further away from that, she is going to go nuts. She's going to go berserk. What's he doing? Who's he talking to? She's going to blow up your phone, because the only security she has is if you're right there and she can see you. So y'all remember when she was with Natter, she would constantly be worrying who Natter was talking to and what he was doing. And Natter was in the same province. How is she going to deal with a man that she's wrapped around who's thousands of miles away? She's not going to be able to deal with it well. So because of that, I think she's going to stay as long as possible in Kuwait, even if it means she's going to miss out on all the extra holiday money from YouTube. Her obsession is more important than whatever money she might potentially make on YouTube. Would it be smarter for her to leave Kuwait and come back to Canada and make some money? Yeah, it would be smarter, since this is her job. Whatever job you do in life, you want to make money enough to support yourself. But Foodie doesn't care about that. She honestly thinks that she's with Salah now and he's going to take care of her. But if he's not working, how can he possibly take care of himself and her? You know, like he's got her there for a reason, and I don't see Sala working, so how can he take care of Foodie? He absolutely can't. So she'll go broke just to have that security of knowing the guy that she's wrapped around, that he's right next to her and he's not talking to anybody else. And those are just my thoughts. Anybody that's on my channel watching this react, you guys can easily give your thoughts. Also, before I forget, relating to Sala, I don't think she'll leave Sala behind to come back to Canada just because she's a narcissist and she likes the attention that she's getting with Sala. Being next to a attractive person that feeds into her super huge ego. And if she ever came back to Canada, she would not be able to get that attention if he's not with her. But honestly, Foodie, if let's be completely honest, you are in Kuwait and you know, as well as I know, that because you're in Kuwait, you can't show very much. You have to be very, very careful showing buildings, showing people. You would have much more freedom to film if you came back to Canada. I mean, as far as Kuwait, there's so many wonderful places and people, but because of the restrictions, you can't show much. All you show are fast food joints. So how are you going to translate that into making money? You really, really can't. There's a lot of restrictions there. If you're trying to be a travel vlogger slash food vlogger, you're in a place where you can't do much, so it doesn't make sense to stay over there. You know, it really, really doesn't. But let's get into the comments. I want to see what the people have to say. And keep in mind, a lot of comments that were left, she has deleted. But let's go with the ones who are still here. There's some comments are very supportive. So Turkish Coffee says, thank goodness. I'm so happy you got out of that rut and you should be proud of yourself. And there's no shaming. Life can be hard sometimes, but you've turned a corner now, onwards and upwards. Okay, I've got an opposing comment to that positive comment. Let's talk about the first part of it, saying, I'm so happy you got out of that rut. Well, let's think about how she got in it in the first place. She was in Canada. She could have done anything she wanted. She could have gone anywhere she wanted. Her life is her own. If Foodie was in a rut, who put her there? She did. She absolutely did. Like, it's her life. Everything relating to Foodie, her happiness and her unhappiness, is completely by her choice. Every single one of us as people, me, you, whoever must be listening to this react, your life is your choice. And every day that you wake up, you are at the very heart and center of a million choices you could make to make your day, your week, your month, your year happy or unhappy. You know, free will and choice, you can do whatever you want in this life. And if Foodie was living an unhappy life, it's completely her fault because the choices that she was making. Life can be hard sometimes, but you've turned a corner now, onwards and upwards. If her life was hard, again, it was her choice to make it hard. It did not have to be hard. She wandered onto YouTube and she's making money on YouTube. She could have done anything she wanted with that money. Instead of taking the money she was making on YouTube and improving her health and perhaps putting it towards a better car or a home or investing it in a business, she chose to take that money and essentially put herself in a place where she has very poor health. And that sucks because there's a lot of people that wish they had the opportunities and the time and the money that Foodie has to improve themselves, yet here she is with all three, and she's chosen to go down a negative path with it. You know, like it's really sad and it's frustrating, the wasted potential there. Samantha says, where is Pete? No hate. Just wondering how he's doing. I'm glad you're well. Well, I haven't watched Pete's lately. But from what I've heard and what I've seen, He's improving himself. And I hope that he keeps on that path. I think Foodie not being there is very good for him. For one, because it's peaceful in the house. And I would like to point something out to those who are listening to this react. And I can speak from experience. If you are introverted, which Pete certainly is, and you happen to live with somebody that brings a lot of the negative energy, to protect yourself against the negative energy, you will shut yourself up in your room, just to have that peace and quiet. And Foodie was always bringing the noise. Okay. So he shut himself in his room. Notice he's out of his room now, which points in the direction that a lot of people were thinking that was his favorite place to be. And maybe in a small way it still is. But notice he's wandering all about the house now. As a fellow introvert, that tells me that when Foodie was around, it made the space so uncomfortable that he just shut himself in his room. Now that she's not there, he's got free reign of the house. He's going and he's doing things. And if Foodie ever came back, he would just go right back to his room because, again, he's shutting himself away from Foodie. But if she's not there, he doesn't have to do that. So he's got more freedom to explore the house, do things, maybe spend time with the cats, maybe do some cooking. I hope he keeps that up. I hope he has a good amount of time to do things for himself, that if she ever thinks about coming back, that he says to himself, I was really, really enjoying that space of time without her, and I want to hold on to that. But only time will tell with that. But when Foodie and Pete were around each other, they became far too codependent on one another. They leaned on each other too much. Now Pete has to do things for himself. So I hope that he keeps that up. I really, really do. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Pete, you're a dick for the way you treated the cats in the past. I will never forgive you for that. But as a fellow introvert from a human level, I hope that you break out of that shell and you stay out and you find yourself again. Because I think the time that you spent with Foodie, you lost part of yourself. You lost your independence, and you need to find it and hang on to it and fight for it and do something with that. And you find some happiness, and stop looking to Foodie to be the comfort and be the safe zone, because you can't expect her to take care of you forever, bro. Empress E says, I'm glad you are finally doing what is right for you. It's good to see you sober, happy, and making your mental health a top priority. I'm happy for you. Okay, let's talk about her being sober. Why is she sober? Answer, because she can't get anything over in Kuwait. She can't drink. She can't do drugs. She can't do her edibles. That's why. Not because she's in a place where she's got access to those things and she's just saying no. It's because she can't do those things. She can't find those things. And she certainly can't do those things on camera. That would be a big, big, huge no-no. The only thing she has access to is the shishka. Is that how you say it? And that's basically wet tobacco. In essence, she's smoking a cigar. That's what it is. It's wet tobacco. It's like smoking a cigar. Same principle. So nobody can really say that she's sober. Okay? She's not sober. And let's bring up sobriety. Let's not forget that Foodie has several different addictions. And food is one of her bigger addictions. And it's a dangerous addiction because food is legal and nobody's going to stop you from eating. So Foodie doesn't have access to her edibles. She doesn't have access to the greens. She doesn't have access to pills. She can't drink. So she's going for the one drug that she can have access to, and that's food. And from everything I've seen of her live streams, her obsession with food is still very much in place. So she's not completely sober. she's still got an addiction that she's not trying to put a lid on. Every time she goes to the mall or a fast food joint, she fixates on it. She gets excited. That's a bad sign. When you got a food addict that the mention of food, their eyes light up and they get excited like a child going to the county fair. Like when food causes that much intense excitement, it's a bad sign. When you're looking towards food for happiness versus other things that don't revolve around food. So she's not sober. She's not completely sober. She's not over her addictions. It's just that for the majority of her addictions, she doesn't have access to the materials to do the things that she's addicted to. But the one thing that she's addicted to, she hasn't slowed down. I feel that she's gained more weight since she's been in Kuwait. I don't believe that nonsense that she's taking walks. I really don't believe that. And even if she is walking, walking doesn't burn that many calories. And what's a walk going to do if you're sitting there eating a whole tray of pastries? It's not going to do much. Absolutely not going to do much. So she's just away from the temptations of some of her addictions, but not all of them. She's not completely sobered up. Like she's still very much doing something that she's addicted to. Let's see. Gemini Jim says, but you could only stay for 3 months at a time, I thought. Yes, she can. It's possible to file for an extension. I don't know if Foodie's going to do that. She might try to do that. But as I said, I think, honestly, strongly, that she is going to stay there as long as she can because she can't bear to be away from Salah. I think she's absolutely attached to him. She is living out her fantasy. Anybody out there remember being young? When you were young and you played house, you be the mommy, I be the daddy. That's what she's doing. She's living out her fantasy of being married. Although, in my opinion, I don't think her and Salah are married. They're just play acting at it for the camera, hence why they need chaperones wherever they go. But she's going to stay as long as she can. She might even overstay her visa. And Foodie, if you do that, you're going to be in big, 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 big trouble. But do you, girl, do you. Wannabe Living says, congratulations, Chantal. It was obvious that you weren't happy before. Nobody has the right to tell you how to live your life. Here's what I say to those naysayers. If someone offers you a life, please take it. Enjoy your life no matter where it takes you. I'm not a hater. I'm just somebody reacting to Chantal. And I don't care what Chantal says. She's not completely happy in Kuwait. Anybody watching her live streams or even through the React channels, I think we can all agree she's not happy. She's putting on an act. She's miserable. She's in a place that she's not familiar with. She can't go where she wants to go, do what she wants to do. She's got to watch her mouth, which often gets her in trouble. She loves drugs. She has said so. Out of her mouth, she said that. She's miserable. But Foodie, for her, the reason why she's staying there on top of Salah, if we're going to be honest now, I feel another reason why she's staying with Salah is her pride. She doesn't want to admit that everybody was right. That absolutely kills her, to admit that people were right, that going to Kuwait was a dumb idea, that flying all the way there was stupid. She would rather stay a million years rather than admit that we were all right. She doesn't want to swallow her pride, admit we were right. I'm going to show those haters. I'm going to stay here and I'm happy. No, you're not, Chantal. You're miserable. You're absolutely miserable. But your pride just, it's too big of a pill for you to swallow. You're just never going to admit that you were wrong. Oh, that ego is just too huge. You're not going to admit that you were wrong. Can't do it, won't do it. So her having a happy life, happiness where? She's not happy. She's not. She's doing the fake it till you make it thing. She feels like if she fakes being happy, that's going to mean she's going to be happy eventually. No, it's just going to make you more miserable. But you do you, Chantal. Jenna Summers says, you have to go back to Canada. You only have 3 months visa. There's no extension, is there? I'm not trying to be mean, but even if you married someone from Kuwait, does not mean you have the right to stay there. You can't. That's absolutely true. Unless he files papers for you to be a citizen in his country, and that will take a long time. Yes, I've heard around the way that paperwork in Kuwait, it's a lot. You got to jump through a lot of hoops. But you're right. She does have to come back here. I just have this feeling, y'all, she's going to overstay her visa because that obsessive Chantal inside of her, that jealous, insecure Chantal about not knowing where her man is and what he's talking to, she's very much there. I think she packed a bag when she was in Canada. She put what she wanted in it, and she had no intention of returning because Chantal is that person that she doesn't think anything of, oh, I got a whole house full of stuff, and if I leave it behind, who cares? I can buy new stuff wherever. Like, I don't know if she's coming back, but I'm just saying, that's her attitude. Like, she's that one that she'll leave everything behind if it means she gets to spend time with a dude. Fernanda says, Chantal, the haters just want you to go back to your old life, being in your room and high and destroying your life for their entertainment purposes only. I love your new life and content you uploaded, seeing you happy and in love. Really? You like seeing a million videos where she's showing us fast food joints? See, here's what I don't get about Chantal. She's over there trying to do this new thing with Solly, yeah? She wants to be a travel vlogger, food vlogger. But yet, what is the first thing she does with Sala? She goes to Kuwait, where Sala is. But because Kuwait being what it is and having the laws and restrictions, she can't show us very much. And I think the only way to save this, she could flip things on its head and say to everybody, you know what? I got a problem with food. I'm obsessed with fast food. And I'm trying to break away from that by breaking out of my comfort zone, my toxic comfort zone. And now I want to travel the world and expand my palate and try new things so I can get away from the fast food. But she'll never do that. Again, too much work and effort. She could flip it in that direction, but she's not going to. Do I want to see Chantal back in her room, high as a kite, drunk, acting stupid, being offensive? Honestly, no. Because I'll be honest with you, I really did not like reacting to the streams where she was so freaking high that she could barely talk, or so drunk she could barely talk. Those were a nightmare. I remember reacting to those. I remember the live streams where she would do an edible and I would literally like set the clock. I knew that I had like 45 minutes out of her live stream where she would be able to talk, and then after that she's slurring her words. So no, I don't want Chantal high out of her freaking mind. I don't want her drunk. I would just like to see her giving us some entertaining content, and she can do that in a variety of ways. But as I said earlier, Chantal's not a creative person. She doesn't try to be. She doesn't try to do vlogs or videos or live streams where there's something interesting going on. It's the same shit all the time, no matter what. She has her main channel. What does she do on it, y'all? She's showing us fast food joints she's eating. She's got the couples channel now with Sala. What does she do on that? showing us fast food joints and eating. So the question becomes, for those who are part of her channel, why pay twice on two different channels for the same content on both? Does it make sense? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. If you pay 2 times, that means you're paying for different content on each channel, not the same content on both channels, because if you do, if you're a creator doing that, you're double dipping. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's double dipping, doing the same content on 2 channels and expecting people to pay twice versus once. So you're double dipping over there, Chantal. Shame on you. Effie Bug says, not go back to Canada. You have to return by the time your visitor's visa expires. What does Foodie say? Then Foodie replies, yes, I'm going back to Canada. I meant I'm not going back to my old life. Okay, that's fair, Foodie. But big question. If Salah's not there to reel you back in, to stop you from cursing and drinking and drugging and binging, what's going to stop you? Right now, he is your control. You're using Salah as a form of control to hold you back from those things. And you're being held back because you're in a country where you can't do some of the things you did before. But once you go back to Canada, Salah's not going to be with you. So what else are you going to use for control? And what other kinds of content are you going to show us? Are you going to show us more of Canada? Are you going to show us monuments? Because, as I said, you're in Kuwait, yet you're completely focused on food. So those of us watching you, it just seems like it's the same old Chantal. It's just right now the volume button has been turned down a bit. But once you go back to Canada, the volume button is going to go all the way up. And you want to know how I know that? Because I'm a fellow food addict. I'm in recovery. You've been in Kuwait for what, a month now? More than a month? And you've not had access to all your temptations. You are very weak right now as far as your self-control. So weak that you're using another person as your self-control. You're not trying to build it up for yourself. So you're going to go back to Canada. And the moment you get off that plane, as you're walking to the airport, you're going to see the Starbucks. You're going to see the Burger King. You're going to see the McDonald's. You're going to smell the food and go straight forward. And then once you get out of the airport, you're going to start thinking about the dispensaries, and you're going to say to yourself, you know, it's been a long time since I've gotten high. I wonder how it would feel. And you're going to get high again. And within less like 4 or 5 days, you're going to have the mother of all binges. You're going to go nuts just because Salah's not there to see and to stop you. And that's what happens when you're an addict and you're not trying to find ways to get away from your addictions and to build up your self-control. I'm not saying I want you to go nuts. I don't want you to binge. What I'm saying is, as an addict, if you're not focused on your sobriety, then that means you're going to be focused on the non-sobriety, and you're going to give yourself reasons and excuses and do those mental gymnastics to justify the addictions. And that's where you're headed. That's exactly where you're headed. Tiffany Mendoza says they don't like the new you because it's not drama and destruction and rages, so they don't have much to talk about. Keep being you. I'm so happy for you and Salah. Well, drama and destruction is what makes Chantal interesting. I wish it were not the case. I wish there was something else to talk about, because even with the drama and destruction, how many ways can you say the same things about the same things? I mean, the reactors were all creative, wonderful people. There's a lot of creative, innovative people in the reaction community with the editing and the humor and the wit and all that. We got to work to make her content interesting. She gives us the equivalent of a plain boiled potato. And we got to find a way to put stuff on it and make it tasty and interesting. But if you give us the same boiled potato, how many ways can we dress that up before people say we're sick of the potato? I wish you would give us something else that's interesting. Like have a hobby, an interest, something, anything. Throw us a bone over here. But she's focused on the drama and the rages. Uh, that's all we got. Let's see. Freya says, I'm going to support the new couples channel. In my opinion, I think all the couples content should be on the couples channel only. The solo stuff on the original channel. That's my 2 cents. Can't support both and prefer the couples channel. Peaceful solution is simply pick one and sticking with it. You know, you're right. Solo stuff on her channel, couple stuff on the couples channel. That does make sense. But what also help the content is doing something different other than eating on the couples channel. Like I said, why should people pay twice for the same kind of content on both channels? Like, you want to do the mukbang stuff alone, do it on the solo channel. But if you're going to be with Sala, do different stuff with Sala. And take food out of the equation. I'm sick of seeing the food. I'm sick of you eating the food, the fast food, sick of it, can do without it. It's boring. You know, like who cares about Burger King in Kuwait? Who cares about Starbucks? I don't understand the thinking of flying thousands of miles to show us a TGI Fridays or a Starbucks over there. We got that over here, Foodie. What would be interesting is showing us cuisine and food that wouldn't be the norm over here. That would make sense to me. You know, like you want to be a travel vlogger, you want to be a food vlogger, yet you're not watching other travel channels and food vlog channels to see how it's properly done. You won't even pick up a freaking dictionary and find descriptive words other than fresh and yummy. Girl, I'm not even a travel vlogger or a food vlogger, and I could do a much better job. I have a lot more words in my vocabulary than you seem to have in yours. Okay, Chantal Skinny Collarbone says, this is what I don't understand. Your whole persona and channel was based off of detailed stories about your life. You were so real and fun to watch. Now I don't get it. You're trying to hide any sense of relatability with your new persona of everything is so invasive to ask, and you expect to keep the same level of leaderships. She replies with, no, I'm just valuing myself and my privacy now. You know, I'm just going to say it. Here's what's sad. And anybody out there watching this React video, please feel free to do your own research if you want to. Anybody can go back through Chantal's channel. Go all the way back, about 4 or 5 years ago. Just go on her channel, and that little magnifying glass thing, put it about, I would say 2015, 2016. Just put in the year. And look at the videos from that year, when Chantal first started her channel. You will be absolutely gobsmacked how different her content was, how different she was when she started. Chantal was a lot more creative and varied with her content. She was doing makeup looks. She was doing hauls. She was playing video games. She gave more variety with her content 4 or 5 years ago than she does now. What stopped her creativity was when she got monetized. And she decided, well, I'm just going to do the mukbanging because that's what makes the most money. But isn't it sad to know that if you're a Foodie Beauty fan from way back, you got a lot more variety than you do now. Like the money completely motivates her. That's what drives the direction of her channel. And don't get me wrong, those of us that have channels, yeah, we pay attention to what people are watching and what they're responding to. But Chantal long ago put herself in a corner, in a niche, when she didn't have to, just because she was running after that money. And she was a lot more real then and relatable in a sense. Like she was a lot more relaxed with it. Now she's just over the top with everything because she figured out, for her at least, drama sells, destruction sells, her anger sells. But she's in Kuwait. She can't do drama and she can't rage and she can't do drugs and she can't drink. She can't be the hot mess in a black dress for YouTube right now. And it's going to stay that way until she comes back to Canada. And knowing Foodie, her wanting to stay near Sala, it's overtaken her brain. And that's the most important thing to her, is staying close to him. She will not be able to let go of Sala when she has to let go. She's going to absolutely lose her mind. Let's see. Boydika says, I just hope that you are not paying and supporting Sala, and it's a relationship you paid for again. Just be careful and think of yourself and your money. Sala is an adult and should be paying for everything for you. Here's Foodie telling a great big lie, saying, I haven't paid for a thing since being here, maybe a juice. Love God's Creatures says, I don't buy that for a minute. If that's what you tell yourself to make yourself feel better, by all means, go ahead, but you know deep down the truth. Another one follows up to say, she said the same thing when she was trying to defend Natter. Then she admitted that she was paying for everything. Also, how did she find out the little Canadian dollar isn't worth if he's paying for everything? Ooh, good point. Very good point. If you're not paying for anything, Chantal, if you haven't paid for a single solitary thing, then how do you know the Canadian dollar isn't worth much over there? You find that out when you do pay. And I got a big question for you, Chantal. Lean in close. Listen, how can you sit there and say that Sala is paying for everything if he's not working? You said that he's on a break with work. So if you're on a break from work and you're not working, how can you pay for stuff? Make it make sense. If you're on YouTube doing the YouTube stuff and he's there all the time with you and the boy ain't got a job, how's he paying for anything? I want to know. Does he have a crap ton of money in savings? Is that how that works? Because it's just logic. Let's play logic, y'all. If he ain't working, how can he make money? And if he ain't making money, how can he pay for anything? I mean, facts. You can't pay for nothing if you're not working. Marie says, yeah, we've heard that before, and she's gone as far as to give Koki the change in a drive-thru to make it look like he paid. Right. I don't think that Sala's paying for anything. Like I said, how could he? He ain't working. He's quote unquote taking a break. I think he's got a job, and his job is working Chantal, living off of her. And true, over there, her Canadian dollar isn't worth much, but it is what it is. She's paying for everything. She has to be, because it ain't coming from him. So if he ain't paying, she's got to be paying. Let's see, what else do we have here? Here we go. Amanda says, so glad you're worrying about yourself and not these low-life reaction channels. Oh, hi. YouTube is toxic and people have to be someone they're not to make it anymore. Really? You're subscribed to somebody who's a complete total fake, Amanda, and yet you're calling us low lives and we're trying to be someone we're not. Yep, Foodie's over there being someone that she's not. All right. Your family, friends, and husband is who you need in your life, not these bums trying to earn a living off of you. Oh, but we are earning something off of her, and she hates it. They've been trying so hard to get you to react instead of you being happy and healthy. You know what, though, Amanda? We don't try hard to make Foodie react to us. She goes out of her way to track us down and see what's going on with us. She's the one going out of her way to look at Twitter, to go on the comment sections, to watch the videos. We don't extend an invitation to Foodie. We don't RVSPC her and say, hey, check out our videos. Come in our comment sections. We want your opinion. No, she does that to herself. She knows if she goes on the reaction channels that she's going to see and hear things that are going to make her mad, but yet she does it to herself. We don't go in her VIB chat and bother her. She comes on our side of the fence. She disturbs her own happiness. She pops her own bubble. These reaction channels bitched when you were your old Chantal, so you started a new chapter, and they bitch when you change for the better. You know what? Why we bitched? Because you was breaking TOS. I'm sorry. Coming on YouTube and being drunk and drugged out of your head and showing your boobs and showing your butt and showing us your punani. Nah, we don't need to see that. Nobody needs to see that. Okay? She can go to an adult site for that. She can go to OnlyFans for that. I mean, there's what's appropriate for YouTube and what ain't. And she was way into the what ain't category. That's why we were bitching. That's why we were bitching. I don't want to see her private area. I don't want to see that in a live stream. I don't want to see her boobs. Okay? Don't want to see it. They have nothing else to offer except to ride your coattails. Oh, I beg to differ. I hope they have to get jobs soon because they're disgusting people. A lot of us do have jobs. A lot of people doing the YouTube thing is just a hobby. It ain't that serious. You do you and stand your ground. Hope you have a great weekend. Low life reaction channels. That's funny. You know what? Let's be real. Let's be really real here. All you people over there that support Chantal, let me just clue you in to a little fact. Y'all may hate the reaction channels because you support Chantal. But let's be honest. Without the reaction channels, Chantal would not be big on her channel as she is. So y'all can just say thank you to the reaction channels for bringing her some of her audience. A lot of people that discovered Chantal discovered her because of the reaction channels. That's facts. Okay? That is absolute fact. Chantal likes to hate on us, but she knows it's a symbiotic relationship. She makes the content, we react to it, we make it interesting, which then might lead to people going to her channel and checking her out. Okay? That whole year where she was doing nothing but live streams for 6 to 10 hours a day, are you fucking kidding me? Boring. So she hates on us, but at the same time, she's got us to thank for some of her audience. So there's that. And you know what? Considering how much work it takes to make her interesting and the 6 to 10 hours of live streams, you best better fucking believe we should get paid for that shit. Yep. We got to spend time going through all the garbage, finding the stuff that's interesting for people. Yeah, we should get paid for that. It's a lot of time spent. So, what else we got here? Cricket says, girl, stop listening to them. It's not a matter of listening. We're not talking at Foodie. She's just the one wandering out of her backyard to come into ours and, like eavesdrop. That's what she's doing. We don't invite her over here. She invites herself. She puts herself through that. She does. So you know what? That's it for the comments, unless there's more. Let's see if there's more, if she's turned the comments off. I got a feeling she turned the comments off. Or she heavily edited them. Ooh, we got some new comments. And I like this one. Swizzy says, you do realize chapters end, right? A story has many chapters, kind of like phases. You can change the verbiage, but the meaning is the same. You know what's funny? You brought that up. Something just came to mind. If you're calling this a chapter, Foodie, considering how you went into Natter's chat and you were talking to him, it just seems like you didn't end that chapter. You didn't write the final page and close the book. You're still keeping that open. So you're being kind of messy. You should end one chapter before you begin another, but it just seems like they're bleeding all over each other, all over the place. And see if we got anything else before I close it out. It's so obvious that there was some comments here that she got rid of because they were not nice. She's editing the comments. One thing I will say about Chantal, one thing I'm absolutely loving, and I know this is petty, sorry. I love the fact that she's in Kuwait. And in the past, when Foodie wanted to rage, she can get on her channel and do a live stream or a video and make money off of it. The only place she can rage is on her community post, and that's for free. She can't get paid for her rage on her community post. And Foodie hates doing everything for free. Haha. But hey, this is what she wanted. She configured things this way, so enjoy that. All right, so we're going to end it here. So I hope everyone has enjoyed this React video. If you have, and if you have comments, questions, things you'd like to say, please put them in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has a wonderful, pleasant day. Stay safe out there and stay warm because it's kind of cold. I can't wait to show you all the snow tomorrow. All right, I'm out. Take care. Bye-bye.